Hopefully. Welcome in, everyone. This is Amy of AJC Magic TV. I hope you're having a great day today. It's been fairly nice the last 2 days here in Pennsylvania, and I do welcome everyone in um, into the chat and to the stream. Share out the stream if you feel like you like to share it out to people. And we're going to be talking about water parks and swimming in and around Orlando, not just Disney, because I know some of you just do Disney trips and that's where you pretty much stay. But you tried the water parks, or what's your favorite swimming pool? Also, I've been to some of the other water parks in the area, and some in the past that are no longer there also. And some of my favorite pools, even off-site versus on-site also. So I do welcome everyone in, and I welcome Randy and Kathy and Penguin Master, and hopefully some other people will be filtering in a little bit later. But here we go. We'll wait and see as some other people. I hope your day has been good. And so, like I said, I'm not sure what your favorite resort pools or even your favorite water parks. I know even in Pittsburgh, they have a few areas where there are water parks in and around Pennsylvania, even though it's not like, welcome in Billy, Kenzie Days' mom. It's not like you can have them year round. We do have an indoor water park, but that's up north in Erie, Pennsylvania. And then some other pools, indoor water parks like the Great Wolf Lodge, and I can't remember the other one in Ohio by Cedar Point, but it's real big. And then they have one in the Poconos of Pennsylvania. We are big fans of Cabana Bay and their pools and Lazy River, located right next to Volcano Bay, both on Universal Florida property. Yes. I haven't been to Cabana Bay yet, but I know my sister's family had stayed there and they really enjoyed the pools at Cabana Bay. Welcome in, Super Dave, and happy birthday to you, Super Dave. Thank you for joining. And Volcano Bay had just opened a month before I went on my June 2019 trip, and we were debating whether to go and check it out or not. It was more of an adult type trip, and we were visiting Universal, and we thought, well, we could just add it to just go ahead and buy a pass or a ticket for the day. My pass actually included it if I wanted to go there, just because that's the pass I ended up buying at the time. Hello, Disinfinity, Daniel. Tracy and Kenzie have both been to Blizzard Beach, and the three of us have been to Typhoon Lagoon. We haven't gone to the water parks in a really long time. And that's probably understandable, because I know a lot of times in the early days when the water parks did open, I used to go to River Country when River Country was there. My first trip back in 1982 or 83 this summer, we went to River Country. And then when I was a cast member, I went to River Country, and then Typhoon Lagoon had opened in the early 90s, and or late 80s, and we went to Typhoon Lagoon the first summer it was open and really enjoyed it. And then they now have added the water coaster, and I believe there's a new family raft ride at Typhoon Lagoon. And then Blizzard Beach had opened, and that, to me, if you really like the slides and different things, Blizzard Beach is a great place to go and do the slides. My nephews and niece really like the ski patrol area for the middle ground type of kids, and my youngest nephew, he liked the Tykes Peak area and everything. But happy birthday, Super Dave. Welcome in, Carol Karkey. Today is our worst day of the trip, the last one. Luckily, we should be back in the near future. Yes, Daniel, I'm sure you'll be back. And yes, it is always hard to leave Disney after on your last evening or the next day in the morning or afternoon, or when usually like when I go, I try to get the earliest flight down and then try to maximize my time um, leaving on the last day, depending on what the airlines are offering. But yes, it's pretty tough. But safe travels to you, Daniel, and your family. Glad you got the ride the people mover. That was pretty cool. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but I do welcome you in. We are going to be talking about the water parks that are in and around Orlando itself, not just Disney. I know some people just go to Disney and that's what they like to do. I don't criticize that. Since I lived in the area before I really started going to Disney, I knew of like all the different water parks and different things. I've also stayed offsite at different resorts out in Orlando. Some of the timeshare resorts that have some really nice pools, and also even Disney. There's some favorite pools of mine. I'm sure you guys all have favorite pools, and also Universal. Welcome in, Captain Akron. Thank you for joining. We aren't as sad this time about leaving because we might be moving here in the next few months. Oh, wow, everybody's moving there. I guess this is the trip that everybody's looking for houses while they're down there. Welcome in, Will from the Hitchhiking Bones. Hopefully your mom is on her way home or almost home, or if she is home. And Kylie, can't wait to hear about their trip. Even though I did see bits and pieces of the live streaming, and I'm loving the little short videos that Kylie's doing. She's a real ham there. She's been fun to watch. It's always fun to watch a first timer or even a young kid when it's their first time. Yeah, you're in South Carolina, Super Dave, and it's beautiful here. Yeah, today actually got up to the 80s. It seems like later in the day it gets a little nicer as the day goes on, and then it hits its peak about 4 or 5 o'clock, and then it'll start going down. I'm actually in Pennsylvania, the western side, where Pittsburgh. So that's where I'm at. Okay, Will, that's cool. So what I was going to start off at is, I know many years ago, my first water park actually in the Orlando area was Wet and Wild Water Park, and now it has been torn down by Universal because they opened up Volcano Bay, and now they have two resorts sitting on the old property of Wet and Wild. But that was one of the premier water parks back in the day of the 70s, 80s, and throughout the 90s there until they actually closed it. And then as time went on, Disney, of course, they had River Country, and then they decided to open up Typhoon Lagoon. And I'm sure that probably played a factor because River Country actually was in the Bay Lake area where it was kind of roped off. And I don't know if they had like filtering or anything like that. It kind of looked like it when you look at pictures and stuff, but that still doesn't keep some of the wildlife or anything like that too. We had Wet and Wild here in Toronto once, yes. And I know like Las Vegas had Wet and Wild, and now it's a resort down there. Because I think Las Vegas kind of went from like the adult vibe to a family vibe, and then kind of switched back to that adult vibe again and wanted to put in like more resorts and hotels and casinos and stuff out in Las Vegas. But then also while I was down there in the 90s, there used to be a water park called Water Mania. It was off of 192, right past where the Celebration entrance. There, it's hard to say exactly where, but the entrance of Celebration is kind of like across the road where Water Mania was, and it was a smaller size park, kind of like Wet and Wild. But there, I haven't really gone to. I really want to go to Volcano Bay. I've seen Samantha Lowe and Nick of Magical News Live. Welcome in, Jay Nashville. Thank you for joining. Welcome in, Tracy Glenn, Jonathan Chung. Thank you all for joining. Yes, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. It does help out the channel, and I do appreciate you all being here. And now I forget where I was there. I really would love to go to Volcano Bay. I had a chance to go when it first opened, on my first Disney trip after a year of my kidney transplant. I went with my sister and her family as sort of a celebration of getting back to Disney and being able to travel and go have some fun. We were going to Universal, and we were doing Universal, SeaWorld, Disney, and we had debated about going to Volcano Bay, and then we kind of decided not to, since it was like mostly adults, and we had one adult where we kind of felt bad that they would have to sit back at the resort because they're really not a swimmer, and it was kind of hot at the end of June for them to be really sitting outside and being hot. Not that they really would have wanted to sit around the we stayed at a timeshare condominium type of place because they had just done it the day before when we went over to the original Universal Park for most of the morning because it was hot, and a lot of times for them it was hard to walk around, and just the heat was getting to them. So we figured we'll go ahead and head over to Hollywood Studios on Disney property. So we decided to do that. But yes, I can't wait to go try Volcano Bay. Watching Samantha, Nick from Magical News Live there, and some of their other friends, Jen and Peter, and I've seen Nate and Dev and a few other people all doing that. And I really want to try. I know it looks pretty fast and everything, but that where you put on the vest and you just kind of get flushed away through the rapids and stuff like that, but it looked really neat. They were just finishing construction on Volcano Bay on our last visit there. Yeah, so yeah, I could see that would want to be on your list. Jonathan Chong, that is one of my must-dos, is going to Discovery Cove. And right now, I wish I could have been down there because they were having some incredible specials to get people to come into Discovery Cove. Yeah, it's a little bit pricey, but when you look at it, you can spend the whole day there. They do give you food, and there are certain options that they have. But I know when my sister and her family went to Discovery Cove, they actually got 7 days added on to go to SeaWorld with their tickets. So they went on to go to SeaWorld. I know for some people, SeaWorld isn't a place for you to go, you really want to choose to go there or whatever. But for them, that was kind of worth it. And then you can also add on Aquatica, or if you really want to do the whole thing up with all the parks that are owned by the Busch Company, you can also add Busch Gardens over in Tampa if you wanted to drive there. Discovery Cove is amazing. We plan to go again this summer, hopefully. That would be really cool, Jay. Yeah, I really want to try that. I saw Dale and Josh and Jenna going there, and a lot of other people. Okay, who wears the Speedo at the pools? No. I don't see any of those guys here, so who knows? Maybe you do, Tracy. But but yeah, it looks really fun. Yeah, Busch Gardens is fun. I haven't been to the Tampa Busch Gardens in a while, since I probably lived down there in Orlando, just because sometimes I can't take myself out of the so-called Disney Orlando bubble and everything. Sign up for their emails on Black Friday, usually a few weeks before Black Friday. Okay, on Blue Friday. Yeah, Karki, that's how my sister was able to get discounts and stuff too. So yeah, I'll have to look at that and see. Yeah, it does look incredible to go to. So that is on my bucket list. I know SeaWorld also has Aquatica. I've never really been there. I've seen a couple streamers go there. It looks nice, but it looks just like all the other water parks. Welcome in, James Ryan. Thank you for joining. But those are all the outside water parks that I know of. I think Gatorland might have like a little splash area for kids. Also, Legoland has a water park, but all my kids. Okay, Tracy, have a good dinner, and I will talk to you later. And thank you for joining. Um, and my niece and nephews are a lot older now. Not that we probably wouldn't enjoy walking around and looking at the Legos and going into the old Cypress Garden area that they kept. Welcome in, Noah. Thank you for joining. I do appreciate that. And so that's the only thing that they are a little bit older. Not that we wouldn't enjoy the Legos. There are some rides that some adults can ride, but it's more geared towards if you have younger kids. A lot of the little cool rides where they have the little cars and stuff. Welcome in, Paul Engel. Thank you for joining. Welcome in, Monarch Moments. Thank you for joining. So now we'll go on. Of course, Disney water parks. Like I said, my first water park at the Disney property was River Country. That was, like I said, an old water hole swimming pool type of thing. The one thing I really loved at River Country, they had an inner tube raft ride, and I loved riding that a lot. And that was a lot of fun. I remember our first trip down there, I got pretty burned, even though I was putting on the sunscreen and that, but I have fair skin. Thank you, Monarch Moments, for the super chat. I do appreciate that. Like I said, it's always appreciated. It's not required, but I do appreciate that. Thank you, Garrett and Michelle and Hannah and Gabe. Thank you very much. And they had the raft ride, they had body slides, they also had some things in the water where you rode across like a zip line and hung on to like a boom from a pirate ship and fall into the water. And then of course they had one of the, at the regular swimming pool area that they had was like a little cliff slide where you went down about halfway and then fell into the pool, where some water parks now have those type of things. And then they decided, let's open up Typhoon Lagoon. And of course, Typhoon Tilly is the boat up top, where I don't know if she still does that or not, but at certain times of the day of the park, she would spout water all over the place. If you were up on the mountain, like going to the slides and everything. And we always had a good time. We went the first year, my sister-in-law and myself and my brother was somewhere at a conference, and my sister-in-law and I decided we'll go over to Typhoon Lagoon, and we had a blast because it wasn't that filled, and we just had a great time. They had, of course, the body slides. They had inner tube slides. There was a family raft ride. That one wasn't as good as the one that's at Blizzard Beach, but I know that they since built a new family raft ride, I believe, and that's and so that'll probably be open when they reopen again. Yeah, no, I remember going to the Wet and Wild too, because that was one of my first water parks too, because that was all on the same trip when I went to River Country, and we stayed across the road on International Drive from Wet and Wild, and my dad was at a conference, so he was able to get us tickets, and we went over for a couple hours while he was there and had a great time. And then we did return on another trip for the evening, because they used to have evening hours. And then when I was a Florida resident, I had an annual pass there. So it was really great fun. But I do, yeah, it can be missed. But go check out Volcano Bay or Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon. And then a few years later, they did open up Blizzard Beach. And if you really like water slides, in my opinion, Blizzard Beach really has a lot of the different slides. They have a couple inner tube slides. They have the body slide, of course. They have the giant body slide, Summit Plummet. They do have speed slides like that at Typhoon Lagoon also. One of the big features, which is no longer at Typhoon Lagoon now, was the snorkeling area, that you got to go snorkeling with through the little pool of the salt water and the fish and stuff like that. I remember doing that a couple times. And then in the one area, one time when I was with my niece and nephews and my brother-in-law, they went and did they had like a thing where you put like a scuba helmet on and you could go down a little bit further. Welcome in, happy ever Yachty. Thank you for joining. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate everyone joining. Let me know what if you've been to the water parks at Disney or Universal, or you've been to the ones at SeaWorld or Legoland, or I know Busch Gardens has a water park, but I don't kind of venture out that way too much. Um, Eventually I will when I have a longer trip plan. A lot of times lately I've only done like a few days and I can only get so much in at a time. But let me know if you've been to the water parks. Um, okay, you went to Typhoon Lagoon only once. Hello, Danny of the Griswold family vacay. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I think it's like a hit or miss. If your family really enjoys the water parks and you want to take time, because I know some people that'll be like an off day from the parks and they'll just go do that and spend all day there, um, or do like a half a day and then go back to the resort and do something else later. A lot of times we usually went when it opened and stayed till a little bit past lunchtime. Sometimes we would eat at the water park, or we would decide just to go back, change, and then go have lunch somewhere. One of the reasons I don't personally, when I'm on a single trip, when I'm going solo, I will say that I admit in the last couple years, I haven't been to the water parks recently, um, just because just the time frame, and since I'm on a shorter trip, I just by the time I would get to the water park and do all that, and then want to go back to the parks, I just been sticking with the parks itself. Um, but back in the day, I would go at least once or twice to one of the either Typhoon or Blizzard Beach and spend half a day till lunchtime. Um, I don't like to be out in the sun too long, especially at a water park, because I do have fair skin. I do spray myself down with the sunscreen. Sometimes I'll wait and go later in the day before they close, a couple hours before they close, because then it's not as crowded. Sometimes the sun's not as hot and everything. I went to Volcano Bay when I stayed at Cabana Bay at Universal. It is next door, and you walk over. Yes, that does look like it. It is convenient to go there. That looks like a fun water park. I'd like to go try that sometime. I've been numerous times, but like the beach more than any kind of pool. Yeah, I can understand that, Yadi. Also, like I said, since I had my transplant, I'm kind of careful where I go swimming and stuff. I know I can't do freshwater lakes, so I can only do the ocean or a chlorinated pool. And sometimes when you're at the water park, you get all those people and just different things. And I know like the pools can get crowded at Disney and even at Universal and stuff, but sometimes it's not as bad as being at some of the water parks sometimes. Not that I'm criticizing it, but sometimes for me, I will admit, depending on my trips, I'm hardly in the pools at Disney, especially on a December trip or a cooler trip. I'm not even ever swimming. Maybe in the summertime, and depending on where I'm staying, whether or not I go to the pools. So that's kind of fun. We swam at the bowling pin pool at Pop in November. Didn't swim in March since the hurt. Oh yes, I remember him hurting his knee. Yeah, at Pop Century, the only pool I've been in is the main pool. Just because my room was always located there, but that bowling pin pool looked pretty cool, and the computer pool looked really neat from different people's perspectives. Yes, Noah, you can see the volcano from a lot of various places. Um, so I started going to Blizzard Beach, and that was one of the areas my nephews and nieces and myself, I really enjoyed it. They had the type where you were on the mat and you lay down, and you can either race down and race your friends or other people that are on the slide with you. That's why I don't like the pools for sure. But now I know what you mean there. Yeah, Yadi. That's yeah, that's the only thing I try to be careful if it's pretty crowded and stuff. The hippy dippy pool is pretty good, yes. Sometimes it's nice just to go to the other pools because they're not as busy. Everybody wants to go to the main feature pool too, and things. Um, but they have also back around the mountain area, three inner tubes. One goes through a tunnel, and then the other two just kind of, it's outside, but you go down the tubes on your tube. They have the lazy rivers. A lot of times I do enjoy just relaxing and riding around the lazy river. We do an indoor water park in Ohio in December. When we go to Disney, we don't have time to try the water parks. That's understandable, Carol, because I know my last few trips at Disney, I had no time for the water parks because they were just short trips, and I was there for specific things. And and like I said, in the wintertime, I don't even bother with the pools unless there's like some hot day and I just want to go, because sometimes by the time I get back to my resort, I'm so hot and everything that I just decide to kind of cool off in the air conditioning, jump in the shower and put on new clothes and head back out. So sometimes that's just as easier than putting on your bathing suit and going. But like I said, it all depends on what resort I'm at, whether or not I go to the swimming pool. The boys prefer the most basic, less crowded pools. Yes. We have an indoor water park up in Erie called Splash Lagoon. It's a lot smaller than some of the other places. I know Carol talked about one in an indoor water park in Ohio. I know there's a Great Wolf Lodge, and I can't think of the other one, but that one's a lot bigger. It's on the tip of my tongue. I don't see Penguin Master here because I know she went to that one. And I can't remember, but that one's a pretty big one up by Cedar Point, but I can't think of what it's called. And I think there's maybe a couple other ones, and I know the Great Wolf Lodge is in and around, and then the Poconos also has the one that they also have by Cedar Point that's really big that a lot of families go to and really nice. Yes, that's a great tip. Go to the main pools, the lounge, and for the bar and quiet pools for swimming. Yes. Yes, Kalahari. Thank you, Carol Karki. I could not think of it, but I could picture it and everything. I've always wanted to go there, and while I go to Cedar Point, and then I sit there and think, why do I want to pay all that money and stay at the indoor water park resort, and I'm going to spend all my time at Cedar Point? So it's kind of like this catch thing where I'm going to have to go sometime like in the spring or winter, before winter or something, and go to Kalahari. But I'd like to try their outdoor pools too, because I've seen some of the areas there. I know they have one in Poconos, but I think it's easier for me to go up towards Sandusky, Ohio, the Kalahari, than going way over to the Poconos area. And they're probably about the same distance. I think the Poconos is just a little bit further though for me. But yeah, if you have kids and they love swimming, that's one of the reasons why a lot of times on the family trips we would go there. The kids are like fish. They've grown up with a swimming pool. They love going to the water parks. Welcome in, Lori Jean Carlson. Thank you for joining. They're like fish. A lot of times, the one time they had a choice of going to the Kennedy Space Center or the water parks, and they chose the water parks, even though the boys would have loved to have gone down to the Space Center, but that's what they had on their mind was swimming. Now, we really enjoyed the main pool at Disney Port Orleans Riverside, Old Man River. Had some fun features. Yeah, I've stayed at the Riverside, also the French Quarter, and now I'm getting into the Disney swimming pools. Some of my favorites, of course, Stormalong Bay is my favorite of them all, because you can sometimes find some areas where it's not crowded. At least whenever I was there, one of the areas that I probably shouldn't say, but there's like a windmill and stuff, and you can kind of hang around in this little alcove area, and it's kind of fun to float around. And I've been down the water slides. Welcome in, Disney Nerdhurst. Thank you for joining. And a lot of times I like the pools that do feature some sort of water feature, whether it's a water slide type of thing, because I usually would ride the water slides at the pools. I mean, I don't mind the regular pools that the value resorts have, and the quiet pools that are in and around, because sometimes you just want to get in and just kind of hang out and maybe splash around a little bit, just to be with friends or family and talk or whatever. So welcome in, Charlie and Stacy. And so if any of you have your favorite pools or resorts that you have stayed at, that you enjoyed the pool, maybe you're not pool people. I know, like I said, for me, it's been hit or miss, where depending on how much time I have, how hot it is, and also just depending on, like, if I get back to my room and I'm thinking maybe I'll go to the pool and relax and lounge by the pool, and I get back to the room and the air conditioning just feels good, sometimes just do that and rest and relax in the air conditioning, and then shower up and head back out. But a lot of my favorite pools, like I said, is I have stayed at the beach club, so that is one of my favorite pools, Stormalong Bay. I've been at the boardwalk. I stayed at the Boardwalk Villas when it first opened, and we enjoyed, I know, clown or no clown, I enjoyed the water slide. Yeah, the clown was kind of creepy or whatever, but it really didn't bother me. I was enjoying the water slide itself, the roller coaster slide. And then I really liked the Coronado Springs Jaguar slide. That's one of my ones. Welcome in, Josh Goes to Disney. Thank you. I am doing fairly well. Thank you, Josh. I hope you are doing well also. And welcome in. I did. I haven't stayed at the Polynesian since they remodeled. It looks really nice with their volcano. I've never really stayed at the Grand Floridian with their new beachside pool, and then they did remodel kind of the one garden pool area. I've stayed at the Contemporary Resort. They actually remodeled the one pool where it has the Mickey head and the water slide there. And I've stayed at Bay Lake Towers, and they had a slide and a kind of a nice pool and stuff. And I hung out one day when I went there and just lounged around the pool and enjoyed the scenery and just relaxed. And also, some of the I like you said, the Old Man Island was fun. They have a lot of different water features and stuff like that. So I don't know if any of you guys do any swimming at Disney, or do you pick your resort by the, sometimes you have kids that like swimming, and, and if you can afford it, do you stay at a place where your kids are going to enjoy the pools? Do you even look at that when you're planning and everything? Yes, the beach club does have the sand bottom pool, and they do have a zero entry towards the yacht club side of the Stormalong Bay. Thank you for the super chat, Josh. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's always appreciated, never required. So, but I do appreciate it. It does help out the channel and everything. So thank you very much, Josh. But yes, it's more towards the yacht club side, the zero entry. I'm really liking how they have changed a lot of the pools to the zero entry. Welcome in, T. Marie's Place, Tina. Thank you for joining. If any of you haven't already done so, if you are enjoying this stream, please hit that thumbs up button. It does help out the channel and is much appreciated. If you're new to the channel and you want to check out other videos, I go live at home. Sometimes we play games. We'll talk about Disney. Sometimes I may go live somewhere in and around Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania itself. With the weather getting nice, I do have some plans to go visit some of the museums that just show you around Pennsylvania and different places. So just make sure you hit that notification bell and you'll know when I go live. So it's much appreciated. And check out my other videos and stuff, because I don't just do If and when I get to Orlando and Disney, of course, I'm going to try and go live and also get as much video and film till my next trip. So just check that out. Thank you very much. But welcome back, Penguin Master. But I forget where I was, but yeah, the yacht and beach club pool. They all pretty much have some pools. I've stayed at some offsite resorts. A lot of the timeshare areas have various pools where they might have a lazy river or a pirate ship pool. I know one year we were down for Christmas and we were at a villa area by on International Drive, and they had a pirate ship pool where a pirate ship was in the middle where the kids could play on and slide down and shoot water at everyone. And my because since I don't have kids, I usually am traveling with various family members. My nieces and nephews had a great time playing on that. They did have another pool that had a bigger water slide, but that usually closed earlier. Randy and Kathy, thank you for the $10 super sticker. It is a pair saying thank you. Thank you very much, Randy and Kathy. It is much appreciated. But and they had a blast there because, like I said, they are fish. They still love hanging out at the pools and different things. I've seen like the Gaylord Palms area. I've never stayed at the Gaylord Palms. That sounds like a place I would love to like maybe do 1 or 2 nights. It looks really incredible in there. One of these days, I hope to go to the ice show. I had planned to go in 2019 and just didn't really have the time to get over there. I know it's a little pricier, but sometimes you can find different specials or deals for the ice show. But they do have an incredible atrium area where they one area is like Key West, one's I think is like a St. Augustine vibe, and then out back they have like a sort of a mini water park in the back of there and everything. So it looks pretty neat. I've seen some other timeshare places, not all timeshare places, but I've seen other resorts that have mini water parks or hotels even. They used to have the Nickelodeon Hotel, but now I think it's a Holiday Inn with a water park, with the old Nickelodeon water park. There's a couple places on International Drive that have that. I try to stay either by Disney or in Disney, depending on who I'm with and different things. So that's pretty much it. I don't know if any of you guys like what your favorite swimming, or if you don't go swimming, let me know. It's pretty understandable because a lot of times you want to go and be at the parks, and going back to the room or sitting by the pool bar is relaxing enough. You don't need to go and change clothes and go lounge in the sun or whatever. So that's very understandable with that. But I know a couple of my trips doing solo, sometimes I can park or resort hop, and a lot of times I may stay at the All Stars, but then pick like the Polynesian Resort or the Boardwalk Resort, or like the one time I did Bay Lake Towers, and then I would relax around the pools at the deluxe resorts, and then go to the parks in the evenings. Being an annual pass holder at that time, and even now I'm an annual pass holder, it's kind of nice to know that you don't have to rush to the parks, and you knew you were going to probably come back, or you can just pop into the parks anytime. I know now it's a little bit harder with the reservations, because you have to get at least a park reservation and go to that park to check in. I've heard different people saying that they just picked up Animal Kingdom reservations, showed up at 2 o'clock at 1 o'clock at Animal Kingdom, stayed an hour, and then got in their car or took the bus to the Magic Kingdom or Epcot to the park that they actually wanted to be at. So that's always that's the thing there. But you have to have some type of park reservation to get into the park. at that time. So that's it. Does anyone remember the old Dutch Inn? I think we stayed there a very long time ago. Not sure if it's still around. I don't remember. So it depends on when that was there. Because my first trip was like 1983, and we stayed at a Holiday Inn on International Drive, which was like across where Wet and Wild's entrance was. And then we stayed at another place right off International Drive, like our second trip. And then we moved over towards Highway 192, that West Erlo Bronson Road, to be a little closer to Disney and everything. I know when we stayed at the Holiday Inn, our first trip ever to Orlando, we drove down as a family because we're a family of six, and they actually had a really neat little island type of pool, and then they did have a quiet pool over in their other building that they had. It was kind of like a tower, and but the island pool area kind of looked really tropical and stuff. Some pools they're just plain and enough to cool you off if you're hanging around the resort. Usually when we're off property, we're usually at the parks all most of the day and just come back and sleep. Except when we're at the timeshare. That the one timeshare we usually stay at, they have a volcano pool. There's a couple of water slides, and they just have like a little fun area where they have shuffleboard, ping pong, all kinds of different things, and a game room right off of the pool area, and a couple of hot tubs and a kids splash pad area that everyone enjoy, that the kids enjoy. But other than that, that's pretty much it. So I don't know if anybody else, if they, if they sometimes choose a resort because of the pool, or you just stick to the values and your kids are fine with that, or you don't even go to the pool. I know I really like the Wilderness Lodge pool. That's kind of relaxing, like listening to the water rush down into the pool and everything. That's kind of a nice pool at Disney. Um, I know I was looking up some information today, and somebody had like a top 10 list. I don't know. I haven't stayed at like the Riviera, so I couldn't really tell you if the pool looks nice. I've only seen it through various channels that are showing around the Riviera, their pool area. The Copper Creek Springs, that's at the Wilderness Lodge. I would agree that is like a number 9 on the Disney top 10 pools. It was like a Disney blog type of thing. But the Wilderness Lodge pool, I've been to there. For the French Quarter pool, which is called Doubloon Lagoon, that's the one with the sea serpent dragon, and they have the Mardi Gras alligators and everything around the pool there, and the kids love going down the sea serpent's tongue. That was number 8. Number 7 is the Big Blue Pool at Art of Animation. I think the last couple times that people showed the Art of Animation, that might have been under refurbishment. I could be wrong. It might be open now. I'm not totally sure. Daniel, if you're still in the chat, you probably could let us know, because I think you were visiting over there, and I wasn't sure if I noticed when Don was showing us around the Art of Animation. But I stayed at the Art of Animation, but it was in December, and I had too much going on to even try and go over there. Plus, it really wasn't too warm. Okay, Noah, thank you very much. It is reopened. That's a nice big 0 entry. Supposedly, you can hear music or maybe like characters talking underwater, but I'm not totally sure. Oop. Sorry about that, Noah. That was my honeymoon resort back in 1992, Port Orleans, French Quarter. Yeah, I remember when that opened. I was still a cast member when that first opened there. And I really like the quaintness of the French Quarter. So yeah, it's really neat there. It's just quaint. Yes, the Big Blue Pool is awesome. We had an upgrade that visit. Pixie Dust put us into the Cars family suite. Oh, wow, that's a pretty good surprise. Yeah. Yeah, that's true there, Randy and Kathy. They call that a value resort, but those suites are more than some of the moderate resorts too. But they are nice suites. I've never stayed in the suites. My sister's family stayed in the Cars suite, and they really enjoyed it. The boys really loved the Cars. That was their favorite movie. Yada, I was at the Caribbean beach for my honeymoon in 1992. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. My sister, she went to the Caribbean beach, but it was 1993 when she went to the Caribbean beach resort. Art of Animation is top one favorite Disney resort. Yes. Number 6 that they had on the list. Yeah, it is a romantic resort, Yadi. The Art of Animation there, or not the Art of Animation. I'm sorry. I was reading Noah's thing and then looking at your, but the French Quarter. It's kind of quaint and quiet and everything. Car suites are awesome. Welcome in, Karen Anthony. Thank you for joining. Number 6 that they had on this list was the dig site, Coronado Springs, which is the Mayan temple pool back in the back of the resort. It's kind of a big plain square pool, but on the side they have the Jaguar water slide. I really enjoyed that, and it's kind of nice. It's big. And then they do have quiet pools in each of the sections. The only complaint that they said on whoever made this list up, they actually said that they probably should have put like a smaller pool or something connected with the Destino Tower, because now you got all those people plus the same size pools and everything like that. Then I don't know if any of you, I'm not a DVC member, and I never really stayed at Kidani Village. I stayed at the Animal Kingdom Lodge for a couple of nights, but it was cold in December, so I never went to the main Animal Kingdom Lodge pool, but it looked really nice and everything like that. I usually in December, unless it's warm and you get that warm week in December where you could go swimming, I don't really go swimming that much in December unless it's warm. Sometimes you get that warm day and everything. I'm not there yet on number 1 yet. But at Kidani Village, the Samawati Springs pool at Kidani Village, that looked really, really nice when I seen a few people streaming that. The only thing I thought was kind of strange, you kind of go out the front door of Kidani Village, or maybe there's a side door, and you kind of have to cross a parking lot, or maybe there's a path that you can go down, but it seems like it's across the road from Kidani Village, and you kind of go down into a valley, but it's a big area. They have a kids splash area and the zero depth pool and just various things for the kids to play on and everything like that. So that was the Kidani Village pool. The next pool that they had listed was number 4, which is the beach pool at the Grand Floridian. That's the kind of the newest one. I know I remember it being built whenever they had put that in, where they kind of have a little mountain and there's a water slide in the mountain, and it's closer to the DVC resort, and then you can walk over from the regular resort from the various buildings. And then they also have a garden pool in the regular area. Oh, no problem, Arlene. I do thank you for joining. No problem. And if you guys have ever stayed at any of the resorts and like the swimming pools, let me know at which pools, or if you've been to the water parks. That's what we've been talking about. Number 3 pool is the one at Caribbean Beach Resort, which is the Fuentes Del Mar Pool. That's the pirate pool, which is the main pool at the Caribbean Beach Resort. At their new check-in center and area, that's always been the pool there. They did do a remodel of it where now it has a zero entry. They kind of opened up the fort area and put in a couple newer slides than what they had there. And they also had to put in a new like splash pad area for the kids to go play around with and play in the water and different things like that. There's also village pools. They're a little bit smaller and quiet. Sometimes they're quiet. I know this is back in the 90s or even the 2000s when a lot of the sports teams would come down. The one quiet pool, I had stayed in the Martinique area, and I was going to go to the pool, but all the lacrosse teams were laying around the quiet pool at the Martinique Village, and I think they were doing that at some of the other pool areas. So I just decided I'll just go to the main pool because that's where a lot of the families and stuff were, and they weren't hanging out in that area. So that was the thing there. But that one was always fun to play. Number 2 is the lava pool at the Polynesian Resort. That's the new feature pool. I know they used to just have a plainer pool. I believe they have water or music in the water, underwater that you can hear. They have the volcano water slide and everything. And I haven't swum in the new Polynesian pool. And then they do have a quiet pool over by the DVC side. I don't know if you're not a DVC member and you're staying at that resort, if you can go to that pool. I'm not sure. But I know you can use the volcano pool there. And of course, number 1 is the Stormalong Bay Beach Yacht Club. That's actually my number 1 pool also. It is really hard to choose how to spend your time and money at Disney. So many amazing choices. Yes, Karki, there are a lot of choices. I know people ask me, what is my favorite resort? Well, I've almost stayed at every single resort there except a handful of the DVC resorts and the Grand Floridian. The Grand Floridian is the only resort I haven't stayed at. That's a regular resort. But I've stayed at all the other ones. And the DVC ones, the only 2 DVCs I've stayed at is the Boardwalk Villas and Bay Lake Tower. And I was there for opening day of Bay Lake Tower. And I was able to go there for my birthday because I got a birthday special, and I asked if I could use that special, and they said yes. So I was able to go and get a nice lake view room that you could see the fireworks actually from the Magic Kingdom. So that was awesome, and got up high, and that was really cool. I was in the Magic Kingdom, and I ran back to my room to watch the fireworks because I figure I might as well take advantage of what I paid for, and I spent most of the day by the pool and hung out at the resort and everything. But yes, I can understand that, Karki, because I know for me, I've always been a park commando person. I still sort of am because my trips are a little bit shorter. When I'm there longer times, I'm not as commando. But I can remember there were days when I would do my single trips, or my aunt would come with me sometimes, or I would go down and stay with my cousins at their place, and we would go on the weekends and hang out at Epcot and the Magic Kingdom and stuff like that. But I can remember days of going to the parks and hanging out, and then renting the boats on Bay Lake and the Seven Seas Lagoon. I would probably rent a boat everywhere. They used to have a boat dock at the marketplace, which is now Disney Springs. You used to be able to rent boats, and you could go up the canals to Old Key West, or even up to Port Orleans Riverside. Stormalong Bay is awesome, but I spent most of my time in the parks, so I saved my money for the cheaper rooms and more parks. Yes, that's pretty much understandable. That's the way that I've gotten, where I rather be in the park. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing something. I know being an annual pass holder, but there was times that I was actually on ticket packages because I had given up my annual pass for a while. Oh, no problem, Garrett. Thank you for joining back. That's no problem. You'll have to watch the replay. Hashtag team replay. But yes, Stormalong Bay is very nice. I know some parents kind of worry because if your kids are tall enough for the water slide, you actually have to leave the pool area and go up through the mass pirate ship that they have there, and then you kind of go back to the pool area on the water slide. But that was fun. My first back to Disney trip, I had my mom, my aunt, my sister-in-law, and I got to plan the trip, and I was kind of torn because the Wilderness Lodge was opening, it had just opened, and since I worked down there, I knew how cool the Beach Club and Stormalong Bay was, and then Old Key West had opened, and they were offering some great specials. And my mom always wanted to stay at the Contemporary Resort, but I was always like, that kind of reminds me of an apartment building, because that's all it was the Contemporary. Bay Lake Tower wasn't there or anything like that. Unfortunately, no, Randy and Kathy. In fact, I never really knew, well, maybe I did, but I just didn't never remember. But I'll say I really was kind of surprised there was a suite there, but I should have probably known that. Welcome in, Richard, the Orlando guy. Thank you for joining. Nice to see you. But yeah, no, unfortunately, never been up in the castle area except the Cinderella's Royal Table when my niece was younger, and the princess, she was all about the princesses and everything. So, and they were hard to get reservations back then too, but we enjoyed eating inside the castle. And I know, that's a hit or miss with prices and different things like that, but it was special to eat inside the castle. But I've been underneath the castle. And I could tell you where the cast member doors are, where you sneak down. But other than that, unfortunately, no. Actually, one of the places I really want to stay at, and I know it is super pricey, but because of the Orlando guy, watching one of his videos sometime, and it would probably be like a staycation there because it is pretty pricey, but going to the Four Seasons Resort, he did an excellent job on a vlog about the Four Seasons Resort. The pools look awesome. I mean, if you're a golfer, and that used to be a golf area before it became the Golden Oak and Four Seasons, but that would be a place to really stay at if you could afford it or just want to have a bucket list place to stay. It is the Four Seasons. But like I said, for me, it would be like I couldn't do any parks. I couldn't do whatever. I'd have to stay there and just spend my time there for what it costs. But it was an awesome video, Richard. But that's pretty much the wrap up of the pool resorts. I don't know if any of you guys have any. I'm just going to do some housekeeping. I do thank Dean of the Live Place, theliveplace.com. He hosts my channel and many other Disney family friendly channels. He also hosts cruise and RV and travel type of YouTubers. It's a great place to go check out if you're looking for some family friendly. Some aren't as family friendly, but they try to keep it as family friendly as they can. And some people talk about the national parks. I know Griswold Family Vacay talked about that with a host of guests. There's travel agents that talk about the parks. They talk about when cruising might be back, RVing, if you're into that. So check out theliveplace.com. Dean is the Dreamer's Empire or the Live Place. Sometimes you see him in the chat as the Live Place. So he's an awesome guy. He lives, and he also did a great video of the Mall of America. I know that's one of the places I would love to visit sometime. And I know when it first opened, it was really big, and now malls are kind of fizzling, sort of. But when he did the tour of the Mall of America, it still looked like a lot of different shops and specialty places were there. So be great to go check that out sometime. Um, and also at 7 p.m., I know the Disney Nerd Herders have their show Not Quite Ready for Prime Time. Also, Pete McDevitt does his creator talk. At 8 p.m. is D&G Explorers. And then 9 p.m. is Monarch Moments. Congratulations for your 1K subscribers. Also, congratulations to Adventures with VP for their 1K subscribers. Also, congratulations to all the Star Wars Recognition Award winners. A lot of them are, a lot of them do some great content, and go check them out. Mall of America in our neck of the woods, it is big. Okay, yeah, it looks big, and when he was watching and everything, lots like to stay at the Disney campgrounds in their RVs. Yes, that's right. I forgot about Fort Wilderness Campground. They do have like 2 regular swimming pools there. One has like at the meadow thing, there is like a kind of a water slide and then a regular quiet pool. But Fort Wilderness is pretty cool to go check out. I know the Tri-Circle D Ranch just opened up. That's where they house all the horses they use in the parks, and also the horse that they use for the Headless Horseman. I'm really hoping that they bring back the Headless Horseman activity that they used to do before they did the renovation, because that looked really cool. So go check it back in, like I was watching in 2019-18, but I haven't really been there since Halloween. But if they would bring that back, that might be a trip that I would do. When is the next trivia night? I will look at my schedule, Richard, because I do have some other types of things. Depending on what type of trivia you like, I have Disney ones and also general pop culture and stuff like that. So I'll look at my schedule and I'll get that on there. Probably sometime over the weekend, Richard, I'll try and squeeze one in and do that, because I do have a couple other games too we can play. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, everyone. I do appreciate everyone who has come on tonight. I do thank everyone who has super chatted. Also, don't forget to hit that like button. If you're new, don't forget to consider subscribing. Check out our videos. I did one from a pretty popular ice cream store on the south side of Pittsburgh called Page's Dairy Mart. Very creamy ice cream. They do a lot of featured sundaes, and they have a milkshake called the Southside Milkshake, which is half sundae, half milkshake. It's delicious. And so check that out. And I do thank everyone for joining. I will see you all in the chats, and let the adventures begin. Bye, everyone, and have a great night. And don't forget to check out everyone else. Have a great night, everyone. And also, Griswold Family Vacay does trivia at 10 p.m. on Wednesday evenings. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.